Heyo. So, I would like to talk to you about a film I saw a little while ago called Batman vs. Superman. Now, this movie's been the subject of a ton of controversy, which you would know if you, like me, are a commandant in the army of nerdery. Some people loved it and defend it vociferously, and good on you. It's always good to love things; just makes you feel warm inside. And some people hate its ass, and good on you too. Good to be critical. Use those rational capabilities. So where am I in this debate? Well, obviously, I have three potential fixes for the movie. Otherwise, I wouldn't be creating this video. But yeah, it's a bad movie, but I felt like there was a lot of potential there, which is sort of where this video comes from. I'm never going to do these for movies that are just absolute ass, because then, there'd only be one thing to fix, and that thing would be everything. In this case, I'm going to spotlight three issues I had with the movie and how I would have potentially resolved them. But to give you a sort of general feel, I thought it was a really cool idea. Some people are pissed because it's like, why are you making this dark? Batman and Superman are light and bright and blue. But that was an approach that worked for periods in the comics. But it's not really an approach that I think would be rewarding in a movie. Like we already get like light, bright, bouncy superheroes from Marvel, and DC really needs to forge its own identity. And I think a cool way to do that would be to contemporize these characters and bring them into the 21st century, have them grapple with 21st century issues like The Dark Knight. Really great parable about the surveillance state and terrorism and cynicism and so on and so forth. It really brings post 9/11 issues into the superhero world in a way that's really interesting and effective. And I think that sort of taking your cue from that was a really smart way to go with the DC universe. Unfortunately, it sounds like they're really pivoting from that because a lot of people thought Batman vs Superman blew. And I'll tell you what, I don't think it was because of the tone. I think that was a wise decision. I think it was cool to take this iconic, hopeful character, Superman, and pit him against a world that was deeply cynical. But I just don't know that the movie approached it in the right way and really fleshed that out. So that leads me to problem the first that I would have fixed. Motherfucking Superman. Okay, so cool. You have this dark, gritty world that's very real and introduces real issues of sort of skepticism and cynicism in media, and it's great. Great, love it. But that doesn't have to bleed into Superman. The way you create conflict is having sort of tonally or ideologically opposed things clash. In this movie, it's like everybody's an asshole, including Superman. Superman's just like this grim, broody prick, and it's just like, meh. And it's like, well, there's no question here. People are right not to trust him because he's a grim, broody prick, and he destroyed an entire city. There's just no conflict there. If he had been the sort of hopeful, like la da da, Christopher Reeve saving cats from a tree or whatever the fuck, great. Then we have our conflict. We have this naive, sort of innocent, pure figure going up against a world that hates and distrusts him and having to prove himself. In this movie, it seems like they were trying to establish that, but Superman just really doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't give a shit. He is every time he has to save people, it looks like he's punching a clock. He's just like, fucking, we got a fucking cat in a tree. Swear to God, goddamn, fucking Survivor's on. I'm gonna have to, fucking TiVo it again. I'm gonna go save the goddamn cat. Yeah, he just seems really pissed to be on Earth and really annoyed at people and just generally uninterested in being helpful. So it's like, well, you know what? Yeah, mankind should chase you the fuck off the planet. You're right. You're a dick. But okay, is that the point you're making? It just feels like the movie didn't really make a stance. They just took this sort of grim, dark perspective on everything. And decided, okay, well, we have a grim, dark view of the world, we have a grim, dark view of media, and we have a grim, dark view of Superman, and everything has to be dark, which just becomes really monotonous and bland. So in terms of how I would fix it, I would make Superman nice. I would make him compassionate. and caring, and make him actually have a stake in this world, and make him actually want to save people and want to help people. So it would hurt all the more when you have people chanting like, go home, you're a dick. You know? He'd take that to heart. My Superman would be very sensitive. Very sensitive. Cool. Second thing, Batman, also an asshole. A lot of assholes running around this movie. So it's sort of like, okay, I understand this opposition you want to create, where Batman is more conflicted than we see him in some other movies, where he's very pure and noble, and he's maybe doing some questionable things, and it's sort of like he has to be redeemed over the course of the movie. But that just isn't really this story. Like, I know what you're going to say. You're like, oh, shit, the killing thing again. This has been done to fucking death. He killed people in the Burton movie, whatever. Yeah, okay, so in Batman versus Superman, he murders a literal ass ton of people. Just gleefully. Like, you could throw like a laugh track over it every time he runs over someone, because just like the like sadistic glee of the camera when he like crushes the living bullshit out of these people is just it's something else. Something else. But okay, so you introduce a character, you introduce a Batman that kills at the beginning because he's really just pissed, much like Superman, punching the fucking clock to save the world. He's so pissed. He has no time to deal with villains. He's just like, let me just fucking run him over with this boss car. But you do something with that. That can be your starting point. There could be this idea that Batman has lost his way and has to redeem himself. And great, over the course of the movie, he discovers that it's wrong to kill. He discovers that his cynical perspective on Superman is irrational, and maybe he should rediscover that innocence that he lost over the course of his years fighting crime. But that just never happens. It seems like they're setting that up, but then the big sort of heroic moment for Batman is yet again killing the fuck out of these poor sad schlubs, who probably are probably like rent-a-cops that Luthor picked up, not particularly evil people. And Batman is just fucking killing them with things you wouldn't even think to kill people with. He kills a man with a box. I've never seen that done. That takes creativity and drive and commitment. And that's the last, that is this sort of post-turning point for Batman. That's after sort of Superman has taught him the importance of sparing people who have your mother's name. Which, presumably the Joker's mother's name is also Martha, which is why his ass is still alive. Unfortunately, because Jared Leto sucked. But that's another video for another time. So how would I have fixed it? Given Batman an arc, made there a point to his murdering other than, golly gee, I do like me some murder, which we know Zack Snyder does. He's just solidly pro-murder. Good for him, that's fun. Thing the third. Guess what it is? It's Jesse Eisenberg. Christ, that fucking performance is like nails on my rectum. But, people were very upset when Jesse Eisenberg was announced as Lex Luthor, because they were like, oh, it's not Bryan Cranston. Well, yeah, that's one route you could have taken, but we've kind of seen it, to have Lex Luthor as the, double-breasted, suited, shoulder pads, captain of industry, asswipe, and that's kind of boring, We've sort of been there, done that. So the idea of reinventing Luthor as a younger, sort of tech-literate kind of figure, a Mark Zuckerberg sort of guy, Jeff Bezos, looks like fucking Lex Luthor, just cast him. That I think is clever, but for some reason, between the casting of Jesse Eisenberg, the writing of the movie, and the actual performance, that got lost, and they just turned him into a weird, crazy fucking sock puppet. I have a theory that the entire DC universe now is based on Jim Carrey's performance in Batman Forever. They're just like, someone just has a big old boner for that performance, because you see it in Jesse Eisenberg in Batman vs. Superman, and you see it in Suicide Squad with Jared Leto, who's just like pure fucking Jim Carrey. So, how to fix that? I think just, look at The Social Network. Look at Eisenberg's performance in that, where he was more restrained, more calculated, you know, he became the CEO of this company somehow and made it very successful somehow. And it probably wasn't through being like a crazy, wacky balloon animal, you know, who's just constantly like, "Nee!" You know, it's like, ugh, why are you so fucking weird? You must be a nightmare at board meetings. Do they just can't call it early every day when you come like mincing in? Uh, yeah, so he just really needed to dial it the fuck down. And I'm hoping that now that he's lost his like crazy carrot top hair, because he's coming back in Justice League, I'm hoping that he'll be more restrained and more of that conniving, quiet intelligence and less of the like, you know, ooh. There's a lot of that. He does that repeatedly. So, thank you for your patience and perseverance. What did you think about Man vs Superman? Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think it was fucking perfect? Great. You know, you live a happier, more blessed experience than I do. So have a great day. Gonna do another one of these soon. Take care.